My name is Robert Shawhan. I'm the author of GraphPad, and today I'm going to describe the configuration options that are available. Configurations are only available in GraphPad C, the configurable version, and we recognize that by the icon that has configurable on the top. When you open it up, by default it doesn't have any specialized document types. It doesn't have any library types as well. Configurations are distributed through an email attachment, and I'm going to open up an email attachment for one of the companies that I'm working with. And now we'll see that it actually has a new document type, and it also has specialized libraries. One important distinguishing factor about GraphPad is that it's not actually a drawing application. It's actually part of a CRM methodology, customer relationship model, and it really just has a drawing element associated with it, but it has a lot of other robust capabilities. So for example, we're going to open up one of these forms, and in touch-based applications, one of the biggest things to be concerned about is typing. So we have, for the header, we have libraries of text that we can use. And so for example, foundation type, if we go to edit that, we don't have to type in slab. We can actually select slab from this list of values. Now you'll also notice that some other values were calculated as well. So we have the inspection date and the inspector name. Those are automatically populated from other fields within the iPad. So these values that we have on the side of text are very handy. You can actually drop them in, so you can actually have blocks of text. For example, on engineering drawings, typically you have informational blocks of text. You could have those as just a single item, and then you can drop it onto your drawing wherever you want, and then move it to where it needs to be. This is really handy when we start looking at the summary tables and the calculated tables that I've created. So if, for example, we want to designate certain lines as being piping, we can select the line. We can actually change the line type, change the line color, and change it to a nice pretty red. And now when we calculate the length, that value automatically populates inside of our table. In this case, we see that it populates with the line type as a PNG file, and we can actually visually see what it is. It has a color, has a line width, etc., has text. And of course, if, say for example, this text was something that we had in a list here, we could actually press on that and we would populate that data. So we've never actually touched the keyboard at this point. So that's extremely useful to employees, because when you're out in the field, typing on an iPad is something that you want to minimize as much as possible. In the case of this particular company, Centex, they had a lot of offset values, so rather than type these values in, they would just drop them onto their drawing and then place them where they needed to be. These values actually can work in conjunction with other features. Excuse me, let's change that. So say for example we wanted these evenly distributed, we can select the line, select the delta, maximum delta, and calculate, and you'll notice that it puts that text along the line. Text, as you might imagine, doesn't go into the scope of work, it's just text. If, on the other hand, we had other items which should be counted, we can do the same process. We'll select the line, select the icon, calculate, and process. And we notice we get the icon associated with it, the text associated with this particular item. We get that from the library, and then the total number. And as we continue to drop items in, you'll notice it maintains records. All of this makes it much, much easier to develop proposals and estimates. So you can now do this physically while still in the field. So think of the cost savings associated with this. Right, so you're talking to a customer, they show you something, you can actually come up with a proposal, an accurate proposal while talking to them, with your corporate boilerplate, all your corporate information on it, and submit it to the customer when you're right there. It also streamlines the communication. So say for example you have a fabrication shop and you have somebody in the field and he's taking measurements and he needs to communicate those measurements back. The typical way is they go and write things down, take pictures, and they physically have to go back to the fabrication shop. With GraphPad, you could actually take pictures, do your drawing, do your measurements, email it to the fabrication shop. While you're still in the field, if they have any questions, they can then communicate back by phone or something and say, can you give us some clarification? We need this other measurement. So it dramatically will speed up the time for doing general work. So you can see the power and the how this really can help companies. Now, I mentioned before there's a single form up here. If, for example, for a company you can have multiple forms, those could be easily updated and distributed through emails, and we're going to load another form in this case. And now we'll see if we open it up, we've got a second form. So you can have all your company forms, you can have survey forms, estimation forms, work order forms, all with your company information on them. You can have these form fields that actually not only make it easier for you to line things up, but also allow you to put in blocks of text without even typing at all. So it really streamlines everything, makes things a lot more powerful, and really gives a competitive advantage to companies that use this technology. So that's my presentation. Again, my name is Robert Shawhan. The product is GraphPad. It's the configurable version, and I look forward to talking to you about this. Thank you very much.